think that poll's in there now. Not 100% sure. There it is. It's just popped up. So let me know if you're bullish and bearish on Bitcoin. After I do this analysis, I'll look into some of the questions you guys have been posting in chat. I can see a few of you got some questions there. And this is kind of the Bitcoin outlook. Now, obviously, if you're watching this stream, I don't know how many new people are in here. I'm assuming most of you watched the channel before. You know my opinions on Bitcoin. And we can just go over it very, very quickly what my opinions on Bitcoin are. We're not going to go over how I got to these opinions. It's been covered multiple times, but just at a base level, what I think is going to be happening on Bitcoin and what I've thought is going to be happening on Bitcoin since around 60k or around 58k or somewhere in that region. I mean, I was advocating for selling at 66 to 63, but then I kind of finalized my prediction in the high 50s. I said we're going to be coming down to the 200-week SMA, which is this green line here. Depending on where we get there or when we get there, that's going to be a kind of give us an idea of where the price is going to be. We're not going to be 100% sure where the price is going to be because obviously this is a dynamic support. It's moving upwards right now. So if we get there in 6 months, it could be 25k. We get there in a month, it could be 20k. We don't really know. All we do know, or all I do know, my personal prediction is we're probably going to get to the 200-week SMA on Bitcoin. That's my prediction. And Megawell, I've seen Megawell jump in the chat here. Just briefly before, we kind of share some of the same ideas about Bitcoin, particularly about where we're going to be bottoming out. We've had some disagreements in the past about when we'll be bottoming out, but ultimately I respect his views and I can completely understand where he's coming from. I think previously Megawell said July, I've said November. I've recently come back and kind of retracted my claim for November semi because we've had that stock market crash and that has accelerated this a lot unexpectedly. And so I think for us to take 10 months to get to the 200 week might be a bit of an overkill. I think we could get there sooner. I'm not 100% sure about the time frame, but I'm pretty confident about us getting there in general. Now, looking at Bitcoin, we can see that we have dropped out of the descending wedge formation. All we need to do on Bitcoin right now is take a kind of measured move from the first test of the top of the wedge to the first test of the bottom of the wedge and apply it to the breakout point. And straight away we can see that Bitcoin at the breakout point is targeting the support block at 29k or 27k, sorry, to 30k. That is the major support block on Bitcoin that we've held throughout January, all the way through to May, all the way through to July, right? That is major support there on Bitcoin. We've held for 2 periods of consolidation, and we are targeting that from that wedge breakout. Does that mean we need to get there as soon as possible? Does that mean we're going to go there next week? No, not at all, right? In fact, we could see bounces beforehand, but what we've seen on the daily chart here for Bitcoin, okay, and this is one of the reasons why I'm even more bearish than usual. We can see on this poll here, I don't know how many people voted, but out of 14 votes, we've got probably 13 people or 12 people being bearish here. So a lot of people agreeing with the bear argument right now. And before I finish what I was saying there, I will say that you'll see on Twitter a lot of people saying, well, everyone's bearish in the market, so that's a reason to be bullish in the market. I would beg to differ. I don't think that's a valid reason. If you think about the 2018 correction, thank you very much there for the super chat. I have no idea how that works, and I've never received a donation before, but I appreciate that, man. That's really great. Thoughts on altcoin season? We'll get there in a second. I'll just finish what I was saying there. So essentially, a lot of people say people being bearish is a reason to be bullish. I would disagree. In 2018, everyone was bearish in the market. We still dropped from 20k to 3k. Obviously, they weren't bearish straight away, but once we got a 50% correction, they were all selling, all panic selling, getting out. Still dropped down. I mean, we're looking at May here. In May, everyone was bearish in the market. We had bullish divergence. We still dropped down for, basically 2.5 more months before we had any sign of life. 2014, the same thing happened. I think it's supporting evidence. It's not actually a reason in itself. And when you start to see people say things like, oh yeah, buy the fear, when people are fearful, be greedy, it's just because they've run out of other actual logical arguments, to kind of... They've run out of actual other logical arguments based off technical analysis, and we're relying on kind of these quotes from Warren Buffett in the 1980s, right? It doesn't really make sense. People being bearish isn't necessarily a reason to be bullish. Sometimes there's valid reasons for people to be bearish. Ronco, I'll get to you in a second, man. I'll get to the altcoin season in a second. I'm just going to finish up this Bitcoin analysis, but don't worry, I'll talk about that in the next 10 minutes. So, the target is 30k to 28k there. And what we can see recently is a drop below this major uptrending red line at the bottom. And we've had a drop below that. We've come back up on this green candle, which is the last daily candle close, and we've actually rejected off of that right now. And we're forming a red candle currently. So this is obviously very bearish. And if we can't manage on this daily candle close to jump back up above, and we're looking for a close above 36.4K, jump back above that region, we're going to be heading downwards even further on Bitcoin. And if we look at the volume profile, we can see that there isn't really any clear support block between 40K and 30K. It's just a massive area of historical buying and selling contention. So I can't tell you, where a major point of contention is going to be between 40K and 30K. All I can tell you is the next step for Bitcoin is 30K. But we can see that, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes a while because of the amount of buying and selling contention that's happened in this area historically. We could chop around for a bit. Wouldn't be surprising at all. I also wouldn't be surprised at all if we manage somehow to break back up, retest 40K, and then break to the downside again. In order for me to be bullish on the market, in order for me to be bullish on Bitcoin again, we need to be breaking 48K, okay? What is the reason for that? Well, the reason for that is because the Ichimoku Cloud, the bull market support band, the 50 and 200 day SMAs are all heading towards 48K right now. And by the time we get there, if we get there, they will all be below 48K. And so jumping over 48K will not only flip a major area of support, but it will flip all of our bullish, all of what we need to be bullish dynamic support zones. So we'll